So as we await, I thought I would take the opportunity to begin the discussion of this amendment, which we are very proud to offer here to the state of Connecticut. There is a lot of work that has gone into this amendment. It provides for an opportunity, we believe, to move Connecticut forward. And I would like to talk a little bit about what we think is a way to do that. This is a bill that provides financially for the state of Connecticut over the biennium, and it is a balanced line item approach. It does some of the following, Madam President, by increasing education funding. Our new ECS formula was designed to fairly distribute aid to all of the state, cities, and towns by taking into account the recent court decisions, and it distributes that aid based on factors regarding enrollment, poverty, and wealth, as well as English language learners. It includes a council that will be convened, Madam President, to analyze and make any necessary changes to the formula in the next year, because we know with any new formulas there is going to be examination. Increases education funding, because we feel that education is the most important thing that we can invest in here in this state and across the country. We propose to increase education funding by $33.6 million more in fiscal 2018 and $136.6 million more in fiscal 2019 and more over time. We understand the challenges that our cities and towns are facing, challenges both from us and from within. So we've offered an opportunity to support municipalities by providing support from here and mandate relief. We flat fund or increase funding for all municipalities in year one. We feel that is an important opportunity because if the municipalities must have to adjust to a new economic reality, then they're going to need time to operate with less money from the state, to figure out how are they going to do that, and to make strategic plans to regionalize or to close or to adjust their workforce. So we propose to flat fund municipalities in year one and increase funding for some municipalities. We believe that provides stability and predictability, and we do not ask towns and cities to pay any portion for teacher retirement costs. We also include significant municipal mandate relief because as a former first selectman, I understand the needs of cities and towns throughout our state and the unfunded mandates that restrict and prohibit some growth, and we offer some significant municipal mandate relief. Madam President, this amendment will serve to fund core social services because along with education, we believe strongly that we must take care of those people who are unable to take care of themselves. So we restore funding for core social services, programs that benefit people most in need. We fully fund day and employment services for individuals with intellectual and development disabilities. We reopen or propose to reopen care for kids, and we restore funding for mental health and substance abuse treatment, which in this challenging time is something that we all share, both sides of the aisle share the need for making sure that our young children do not suffer from these substance abuse epidemics that are happening throughout our state. We propose to protect funding for SAGA, which is a lifeline for many Connecticut residents who are disabled and unable to work. We protect funding for school-based health clinics, community health services, family resource centers. We do not suggest to annualize holdbacks for domestic violence shelters and services for those with disabilities, employment opportunities for the blind and for the deaf. We support seniors, Madam President, in this amendment because we propose to protect and reopen the Connecticut Home Care Program. We increase funding for the very important program Meals on Wheels. We lower taxes for retirees, and we restore the personal needs allowance, all the while increasing funding for the non-ADA dial-a-ride. We know on both sides of the aisle we share the appreciation of the dedication of our great veterans, and this amendment restores funding for veterans' burial expenses. Transportation has been a big discussion over this past session. I'm sorry, I thought someone was speaking to me, Madam President.
Problem, sir.
So we propose to prioritize transportation by prioritizing the state's transportation needs and stabilizing funding, and we propose to do so without new taxes or without the implementation of tolls. Our plan, Prioritize Progress for Transportation, provides over $60 billion over the next 30 years in an opportunity and in a way that is achievable and realistically doable, we believe, Madam President. And this will stabilize the state's special transportation plan. Madam President, in my other life, which I used to have going to work each and every day in the private sector, I have spent most of my life in the hospitality industry. And I understand how important tourism is throughout our country, but specifically to our state, and that tourism has a multiplying effect on our economy, both in terms of creating jobs, having an economic impact on each of the communities, whether it's up and down the shoreline, or whether it's inland in Hartford, some of the great museums, the Northwest, the beauty of the Northwest corner and the Northeast corner. We know that tourism is a multiplier. So we propose to transfer 1.5% of the current hotel occupancy tax to a new marketing, culture, and tourism account. We do not propose to increase the current amount of 15%, but to do as that increased number that occurred a few years ago was intended to do when it went from 12 to 15%. And that was to provide opportunities to support tourism. So we propose a 1.5% transfer for tourism support. All current tourism appropriations made from the general fund would be eliminated, and all future funding will be made from this new account, and this would result in an increase of funding, we believe, over time. And funding is also provided to maintain Connecticut's rest stops, making our state more attractive to visitors. There's nothing worse than entering a new state and seeing an opportunity to pull over and say, we're closed for business. We want to welcome people, and it is our belief that we prioritize that and make sure that people have the opportunity to pull over and perhaps get some information about our great state, the state that we all live here with and love. We also, Madam President, propose to reduce the size of government by implementing 10% reductions to certain agency accounts, and we make cuts to the legislature, such as reducing legislative committees. Our structural changes, which we believe are very important and include a spending cap, a bonding cap, a municipal mandate relief, and other long-term savings. That is a basic synopsis of the spending. I guess we're still waiting